Hello, we're the final bosses, and today we're going to be looking at Luz and Amity's connection to a good witch Azura and Hecate. Well, with that out of the way, let's fight. Massive spoilers for episode 18 of The Owl House. If you have yet to watch it, stop this video, go watch it. You're going to need to take some time to breathe, and then you can go ahead and come back here. You back? Good. Alright, episode 18, Agony of a Witch, had us both and the whole fandom in agony, with Lilith finally going full dark side and using Luz to capture Ida. But not before revealing that she was the one to curse Ida. Through our tears, we understood we were tricked by the Owl House writers. And it just makes us love the show even more. After we got our emotions together, we sat down and we had a chance to really look at the new lore that was presented to us. We now have it confirmed that Emperor Belos did come into power just over 50 years ago. He then tamed the wild magic and created the covens. According to Kikimora, the wild magic displeased the Titan. Now, are we going to believe the house spirit of an evil tyrant? For those who are not lore crazy over spirits or mythology, a Kikimora is a Salvic folklore and is a house spirit that can either be good or bad, depending on how they feel about you. And of course if your house is in order or not. When they are on your good side, they look out for housework, aka Ida-finding wild witches, and they protect chickens. Look at that cute little chicken leg on Kikimora. Fun fact in my fun fact, they're also the first explanation to sleep paralysis.
Enough sidetracking. After taking in this lore, we looked at the picture of the witches dancing around the fire. And who did we see? The good witch Azura, with her darker skin and her white witch cloak and hat. While we don't see Hecate's gold crown, however, we can assume she is there, either next to her, behind the fire, or she is in the dark cloak and hat opposite to her. So if our theory is correct, this makes her a real person. Witch. So she was alive when Emperor Belos came into power. We think she may have been older at this time, and as such was not able to stop him. However, she escapes into the human world, along with Hecate. At some point, the descendants of Hecate return to the demon world and has Amity. In the human world, Azura has Camellia Noceta, who has Luz. This would mean that Luz and Amity are direct descendants of Azura and Hecate. It seems a little far-fetched. We do see evidence, or they feed into our old theories. While the evidence is thin, Azura and Luz both have darker skin. As for Amity, we think she is half human, so that would feed into it. But if that is too much outside the realm of believability, we have a simpler answer. They are reincarnations of Azura and Hecate. We see the parallels many times over with both Luz and Amity owning the Azura books and looking at the characters, and even using some of their spells like in the sports episode.
In a lot of media, both here and overseas, bloodlines are always destined to fight with or against one another, be it through reincarnations or descendants. So it makes it feel like Luz, like she wanted the early season, has the destiny to defeat the Emperor with the help of Amity. Hence the episode name, Young Blood, Old Souls. Speaking of the Emperor, we are really confident now that he's looking for a new vessel. And also, this show draws so much on Harry Potter, why not add some Voldemort in there? When Emperor Belos drinks the Palismen, it reminds us of good old Voldy drinking the unicorn blood. Which, like Voldemort, the Emperor needs a new body. Now, I don't think he just needs to be thrown into a pot from a gross rat man. However, we said before, we still think he needs to transfer his soul into another body. While Luz and Amity have been our main candidates for this, we're now starting to think that he may want to transfer himself into the most powerful witch on the Isles, which would be Ida. This does throw a few things out of whack, like why they would send a fake Luz to the human world, but it is something to look out for.
Lastly, we have a few interesting tidbits, starting with the Savage Times. We think this was a time of unity between the powerful demons and witches, and that Belos has rewritten history to make himself look like a good guy. This has happened and still happens all the time in history, and of course the writers use this in fictional worlds as well. We can see he is not above killing, as he threatens Lilith with death from being covenless. And if we look back a few episodes where Ida is teaching Luz a second spell, they're at a powerful place for wild magic. And this happens to be in the ruins of an old city or town, most likely a place that Belos destroyed in his quest for power and control. Luce uses the power of the Titan to cast her spells. Emperor Belos in his Sauron-like tower has access to the Titan's magic sac. So it's safe to say that Belos was able to use his connection and closeness to the Titan's magic sac. So it allowed him to cast powerful glyph spells and oppress the witches and demons of the Boiling Isles. Lastly, about the Palismen. We see the Queen of Bats was the Palismen of a giant thousands of years ago. It doesn't seem like the giants are dead, but are just gone. But that's a theory for another time. However, according to Ida in episode 10, she made Albert from a branch of an ancient tree. These trees, of course, grow from the Titan, so it's safe to say that they are part of the Titan's power. Hence why the Emperor needs them to sustain himself.
We are super excited about the season finale of Owl House this Saturday. And while not all of our questions will be answered, we can't wait to see what we got right. And, well, of course, how they tricked us again.
Also, we can't forget, in this episode we did get to reveal the true hero of the story, my main man Hootie. Man, that was a lot to take in and a lot of lore and history.
Oh, yeah, that was such a great episode.
And such a, gut-wrenching episode at the same time for the fandom.
Yeah.
But, we've got a lot to look forward to. Probably a redemption arc, a rescue arc. There's a lot that's going to happen.
I'm so excited for the season finale and beyond.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things we wanted to thank you guys for. First of all, for making our Emperor Belos, our video, our second most viewed video, and also for making our current Owl House Theory video that we have on the channel our most fast-growing video to date. Like, you guys have been super awesome. We're really glad you like the Owl House content.
And we love the show, so we're happy to provide more and more theories for you.
Yeah, so if you guys want, more Owl House content, you want us to talk about more things, leave a comment, let us know what you want to hear. And as always,
we have been the Final Bosses.